Hello! Welcome to this week's video. For this week, I'm doing my book haul for the month of April. This is a stack from that never-ending story that I want to show you guys off in hopes of someday ending that story, but it's a never-ending story, so I doubt that we will, because once we take a pile from there, we then have to replace it with a pile from there, which is like just a little off camera. But there are stacks over there because it's not hoarding if it's books, right? So we're going to show off some books and then we're going to do a new book giveaway. So stick around for that. First, we show off the book and then we read the back blurb, and that's how we do here. So we're going to start off with our first book is James A. Michener's Poland. And if you don't know, James A. Michener is sort of in the same vein of like Edward Rutherford, where he takes the history of a place, either a country or a city or a town, and he tells a narrative set in that place through historic events in that area. And I really like the way Edward Rutherford does it. I haven't read James A. Michener yet, but I get the same sort of vibe, so hopefully I will enjoy this as well. Let's read the back blurb. Like the heroic land that is its subject, James Michener's Poland teems with vivid events and unforgettable characters in the sweeping span of 8 tumultuous centuries. That's a long time. In a tradition of resistance to barbarian Tartar invaders and brutal Nazi occupiers, with a heritage of pride that burns through eras of romantic passion and courageous solidarity, 3 powerful families live out their destinies and the drama of a nation. Here are the Count Slobonsky of the nobility, the Bukowskis of the gentry, and the peasant Buks, at times fiercely united, at other times tragically divided, whose common story finds its breathtaking culmination in the historic showdown between implacable communists and rebellious farmers in our present day. This was written in 1983, so that's their present day. So looking forward to that. You know, I love my epic sagas. Next we have Sultana by Prince Michael of Greece. So this prince wrote what essentially looks like a romance novel, which is very cool. And when I first picked it up, I thought that it was Sultana sort of and Prince Michael of Greece, like Prince Michael of Greece was the hero that Sultana falls in love with, but no, it was written by Prince Michael of Greece. And that was written in, let me do the back blurb first. A precious jewel amid the shimmering that cover. A precious jewel amid the shimmering enchantments of the royal harem, she was the heart of a golden, splendored empire, commanding destiny for the adoring young sultan who could never love her openly, and the son who must live to one day take the throne. Amy was just a girl when driven from France by the revolution. She was captured by pirates and sent to the sultan's seraglio. Fearing a shame worse than death, she found instead undying love, a glorious love, invincible against jealous intrigues, treachery, and the clash of armies. So it's set, obviously, during the Turkish Empire, and I am so looking forward to this. His love was fated to break her heart, yet it fired her passion to rule as Sultana. Oh, this looks so deliciously crazy sauce. I cannot wait. And it was published in translated from French. Okay. So, Prince Michael of Greece wrote it in French? Oh, okay. Published in 1983. So well, to me, it's not that old. So, next we have Sandra Brown's White Hot. And I believe this is one of her romantic suspense books, which, again, if you're new to this channel, I am not a big romantic suspense fan, but I picked up this one, and this is why. When her younger brother Danny commits suicide, Sayer, that's her name, Sayer Lynch, breaks her vow to never return to her Louisiana hometown and gets drawn back into her tyrannical father's web. He and her older brother, who control the town's sole industry, an iron foundry, are as corrupt as ever. Worse, they have hired a shrewd and disarming new lawyer, Beck Merchant, a man with his own agenda. When the police determine that Danny's suicide was actually homicide, Sayer must battle her family and her passionate feelings for Beck as she confronts a powder keg of old hatreds, past crimes, and a surprising plan of revenge. So the reason I got this was because it's more to do with, like, family secrets than, like, a trying to solve a crime kind of thing. It's that, but it's steeped in more, like, family secrets. So that's why I picked this one up. The next one is Dean Koontz's Velocity. Now, I like Dean Koontz. I want to read more of his books. And the inside cover is a note that they reference in the back blurb, which I will read to you now. The note says, "If you don't take this note to the police, I will kill a lovely blonde schoolteacher. If you do, I will instead kill an elderly woman active in charity work. You have 6 hours to decide. The choice is yours." The typewritten note under his windshield seems like just a sick joke, but in less than 24 hours, Billy Wiles, an ordinary hard-working guy, is about to see his life take on the speed of a nightmare. Because a young blonde schoolteacher is murdered, and now Billy has another note, and another deadline. This time he knows it's no joke. He's racing a killer faster than evil itself, and Billy must accept his terrifying challenge. The choice is yours. So, very much looking forward to this one, and I've read a few Dean Koontz's here and there over the years, and I've always liked his work, so I definitely am interested in, like, getting back into his books. And this one was published in 2005, so almost 20 years ago. This one is Songs My Mother Taught Me, a novel by Audrey Thomas. And I remember hearing this title over the years, but I had no idea, like, what it was about or anything, but I was aware that this was a book that existed. Let's read the back. A girl's novel for grown-ups. A looking-glass tale. Songs My Mother Taught Me documents Isabel Cleary's coming of age. Set in upstate New York in the early 40s and 50s, Songs My Mother Taught Me is a novel about affliction. The affliction of madness, loneliness, despair, and how these forces drive people unknowingly to hurt, and about one selfish child's attempt to escape that hurt and be free. So, this looks like it's a very heavy, it's going to be a very heavy, sad book. So, and when was this one written? This definitely looks like an older book. 1973. So, 4 years before I was born. Next we have an old school Harlequin Presents, And it's Lindsay Armstrong's Saved from Sin. And that cover where he kind of looks a little bit like Cary Grant. Yeah, so let's read the back blurb. She'd rushed into marriage. Clay Forrester had swept his starry-eyed Australian bride off her feet. He'd made her feel special, witty and rather daring, a person who existed only for him, when all along she'd existed only as his instrument of revenge. Mellie's last words the night she'd confronted her father had been, "It's not true. Clay loves me. He does." And yet she ran away. For 3 long years Mellie had managed to evade the past, until the day she ran right into her husband and a situation she had to stay and face. So that sounds like it's going to be bananas. 1985. Next is Yours Truly, Love Janie by Anne Reit, R-E-I-T, and it's part of the Wildfire line. And it is one of those teen romance lines that I remember loving when I was younger. There was the Sweet Dreams, there was Couples, there was a whole bunch of like teen romance lines that I would love to reread again. So I grabbed this, and I think the previous two, and this one, and another one, and the next one, were all books that I found in a free little library, one of the free little libraries that we have here in Toronto. And so I was very glad to find these funky sort of vintagey books. So let's read the back blurb for this one. Good-looking cowboy, sensitive, intelligent, 21 years old, wishes to correspond with equally understanding, sophisticated city girl. Janie Downs, unsophisticated, small-town, 16-year-old, sees the magazine ad and knows it's the something exciting she's been waiting for. 16. He's 21! Don't do it! She begins secretly writing to Duke McCoy and pretends she's all the things he wants, including older. Peter, Janie's boyfriend. Oh, Janie, what are you doing? Ma'am! Oh, this looks like it's going to be a mess. Peter, Janie's boyfriend, good-looking, smart, fun, and the star of the basketball team, adores Janie. But when she loses herself in her dreams of Duke, Peter gets tired of being second best and walks away. Of course he does. Justice for Peter! Then Duke writes that he's coming for a visit, and Janie panics. What will Duke think when he meets the real Janie? And has she lost Peter forever? Oh my God! This looks like it's gonna be insane. Insane. And I personally cannot wait. I cannot wait. When was this hot mess written? 1981. 1981. So I was 4. This is the year my sister, Julia LeBlanc, she of the Fantastic Outlander videos, was born. I can't wait to read this hot mess. Yeah. Wow. And in that free little library, I also found this. That's right. It's a Dawson's Creek fan fiction novel, shall we call it, called Tough Enough, an all-new original story featuring the characters of the hit Columbia TriStar television show. I love Dawson Creek. Joey and Pacey forever! When Principal Green introduces a mandatory new program called Spring Plan at Capeside High, Jenny, Joey, Pacey, Jack, Andy, and Dawson all sign up for projects that interest them. But Principal Green has other ideas, and they find themselves assigned to character building through wilderness training in the wilds of North Carolina. Oh yeah. Wilderness camp is run by a former Marine drill sergeant who makes the Godfather look like Mother Teresa. Pre-breakfast runs, splitting wood, poisonous snake identification classes. Tension is running high, but there's only one way out of the woods for Jen, Joey, Pacey, Dawson, Jack, and Andy. I love this show. I did. It was a hot mess. It was soapy and just melodramatic and just... I loved this show so much. Joey and Pacey forever. Sorry, Dawson. And next is a Catherine Catherine Cookson, first novel of an exciting new trilogy, and this one is called Tilly Trotter. And I got this book, and I'm looking to get other Catherine Cookson books as well. I have a few on my TBR because one of the booktubers that I follow on here, Becky's Book Reviews, she got a humongous stack of Catherine Cookson novels from her sister, and she's gradually been sort of going through them and reviewing them, and just the way that she sort of talks about the books just makes them sound like so interesting and like right up my alley, with like family sagas and like women sort of coming up from poverty and like making, you know, successes of their lives and like that kind of, you know, stuff that I just adore. So let's read the back blurb for this one. Oh, when was the Dawson's Creek one published? Go back. The Dawson's Creek one was published in, the show was in the 2000s, so it was in 2000. But Catherine Cookson, Tilly Trotter. Set amidst the bustling Tyneside towns of County Durham during the reign of a young Queen Victoria, Tilly Trotter is the compelling story of a young girl living happily with her grandparents on the edge of the Sopwith estate. But hard times lie ahead for beautiful slim Matilda. Envied by the women for her unusual beauty, lusted after by the men, Tilly is accused of witchcraft, experiences the cruel drudgery of working in the local coal mines, and knows the heartache of a passionate love that is not returned. Yet Tilly emerges as a courageous young girl with a strong instinct for survival. And this is the first book of a series, so definitely looking forward to this one. And this one was probably, she's got, my goodness, look at her backlist. Ma'am! I only wish that I could ever be this prolific. Published in 1980. I mean, I have like maybe 11 books, 15, around 11, 15 books out right now. New one came out this week, Wanted, my historical romance with a little touch of BDSM, if you'd be interested in picking that up. It's Wanted by E. Jane, and it's available on Amazon, and it's pretty much going to be available everywhere, because I've signed it up on Smashwords as well. So just a little shameless plug in there. And definitely looking forward to this one. Next one is another Catherine Cookson, and it's The Girl. And back blurb reads, her name was Hannah Boyle, but to the people of the village she would always be the girl, Matthew Thornton's bastard. Savagely treated by Matthew's wife, Anne, she fled for protection to the devil-may-care horse dealer Ned Riley, who had earlier befriended her. But as the waif grows to beautiful womanhood, she became an object of desire to the local young men, even to her half-brother. Oh, we're getting V.C. Andrews up in here. Married off to a gross, sensual man. Well, that's sort of an oxymoron, because who doesn't like a sensual man? But then you said he's gross, so that's a weird way to describe somebody. Like, is he a good man or a bad man? Hannah kept on fighting for the man she wanted, Ned Riley, who adored her and taught her the meaning of love and passion. So looking forward to this one as well. And it was published in 1977, the year I was born. That's awesome. Next is Looking for Mr. Goodbar by Judith Rosner, and I know that this is a classic, and I know that I believe it was made into a movie by Woody Allen, which I can't stand Woody Allen, so I will likely not be watching that movie. I cannot stand that pedophilic, self-indulgent ass butt. And I do judge people who praise him, and especially female actresses who continue to work with him, knowing what a pedophilic piece of shit he is. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the book. And let me see. Is there a back blurb in this? Kind of. Okay, I guess this is the closest. Looking for Mr. Goodbar is a haunting and compelling novel that takes the reader into the life and world of a young woman living alone in New York City. Promiscuous, yet oddly naive, she tries to come to terms with the new sexual freedom, and her search for liberation ends up in one of the most frightening confrontations in all of literature. Oh. Okay. The tagline is a quote from the New York Times Book Review. Complex and chilling portrait of a woman's descent into hell. Oh, geez. Okay. When was that published? 1975. This seems like it might be disturbing. Next we have the classic Madame Bovary by, I think it's Gustave Flaubert? It says Flaubert, but I think it's Gustave Flaubert. Let's read the back blurb. The central character of Madame Bovary is the bored wife of a provincial doctor whose desires and illusions are inevitably shattered when reality catches up with her. Flaubert vents his profound contempt for the bourgeois mentality, but betrays a certain sympathy for the human frailty of Emma Bovary. She remains one of the great creations of modern literature. Well, classic literature now. So yes, of course, I've always been aware that this book existed, and we are trying to get into more classics, so definitely had to pick this one up. The first translation was published in 1950, but I believe in the back here it says that the novel itself, as a French novel, was published in 1857. So she's an old gal, but looking forward to that. Next is Danger's Angel by Holly Hart, and definitely a saucy historical, if you're to go by the cover. Let's see. They call her Ice Angel because her cool, aloof demeanor betrays nothing. Not a glimmer of emotion, not a hint of passion, not a clue as to why this virginal beauty has taken up residence in a Texas brothel. It was a desperate gambit to keep her family from financial ruin. But now Angelina Coleman finds herself rescued by Kit Dancer, bounty hunter turned lawman who is determined to save the lovely young innocent from a compromised life. She doesn't know that he is haunted by a terrible tragedy and has sworn to never love again, until he offers her the protection of his name, and two hungry hearts discover a passion that's the closest thing to paradise this side of heaven. So, I'm guessing she ain't gonna be Ice Angel for long. This was published in 1996. And the last one is a duology called Thursday's Child and the Moneylenders of Shapur by Helen Forrester. It's it's a duology, so that's 2 books in one. And I'll read the back blurbs for both. Thursday's Child. Peggy Delaney was a Lancashire girl, born and bred, beginning to live again after the heartache of war. Ajit Singh was a charming young Indian student, shortly to return to his homeland and an arranged marriage. When Peggy and Ajit fell in love, each one knew the future would not be easy. But as they began their new life, far from their homes and their families, they found that love could bring 2 worlds together. And the next one is The Moneylenders of Shapur. Lovely Anasuyaben had been brought up to obey her father in all things. But as soon as she sets eyes on Tilak, the brilliant new professor at Shapur University, she knew she could not marry Mahadev, the wealthy moneylender selected to be her husband. The trouble was that Tilak was not of her caste or her religion, and shocked her community with his modern ideas. Torn between passionate love and a deep religious belief, Anasuyaben longed to follow her heart. What she did not know was how much both men wanted her. So, these sound really, really good. And if you're new here, I always talk about how I've always been, I love books set in sort of the Indian or sort of like Southeast Asian Indian culture, and also the Jewish sort of culture. I don't know why. I've always loved reading books set in those 2 cultures. So definitely looking forward to this one, or these ones, as they are a duology. Published in Thursday's Child was 1959, and The Moneylenders of Shapur was in 1987. So that's quite a gap. Quite a gap between the 2. So definitely looking forward to these. So now on to our giveaway. For this month, I am giving away a copy of the fantastic Susan Elizabeth Phillips' Dream a Little Dream. And I thoroughly enjoy Susan Elizabeth Phillips. She writes romances, but they always sort of have this through line of humor to them. They're very sort of like, if you're in the mood for a enjoyable, delightful kind of romance, she's usually a safe bet. Let me read you the back blurb for this. A desperate young mother, Rachel Stone's bad luck has taken a turn for the worse. With an empty wallet, a car that's spilling smoke, and a 5-year-old son to support, she's come home to a town that hates her. But this determined young widow with a scandalous past has learned how to be a fighter, and she'll do anything to keep her child safe. Even take on Gabe Bonner, who wants to be left alone, especially by the beautiful outcast who's invaded his property. She has a ton of attitude, a talent for trouble, and a child who brings back bad memories. Yet Rachel's feisty spirit might just be heaven sent to save a tough, stubborn man. Welcome to Salvation, North Carolina, where a man who's forgotten what tenderness means meets a woman with nothing to lose. Here two endearing lovers will set off on a funny, touching journey of the heart to a place where dreams just might come true. So that is the giveaway for this month, and that's the insert cover. It's just so pretty. The insert cover reads, "Over the years, the cottage nestled on top of Heartache Mountain had known birth and death, laughter, tears, and love. Now it would be a place of shelter for two battered souls. Once in every lifetime, a woman needs a dream, and a man needs a woman with a dream." And this was published in 1998. So this one is one of her earlier novels. So if you would like to be entered to win this one, all you have to do is just leave me a comment. Leave me a comment in the comment box that you would like to be entered to win. And then I will pick a winner from the entries in May's book haul. So that means you should be subscribed and hit the notification bell so that you will know when May's book haul video goes up. So definitely check that out. And I think that's going to be it for this week's video. I'd love to know if you read any of the books that I showed off today and sort of what you thought of them, with no spoilers, please, of course. And yeah, that's going to be it for this week's video. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!